The year was 1985. Across America, the echoes of the early 1980s recession had begun to fade, replaced by a renewed sense of economic optimism. In Denver, Colorado, the rhythmic thunder of coin presses at the United States Mint facility played a steady soundtrack to the nation's recovery. Among the millions of coins produced that year was the Jefferson nickel, a workhorse of American currency, often overlooked, destined for pockets, registers, and soda machines. To the casual observer, the 1985 D nickel was utterly ordinary. A 5-cent piece bearing the familiar profile of Thomas Jefferson, minted in the billions, utterly indistinguishable from its siblings. But within this sea of uniformity, a secret was born. A microscopic anomaly occurred in the production process, so subtle that it slipped past quality control unnoticed. It wasn't a dramatic error, not a misstrike or an off-center alignment, but something far more elusive, a whisper of imperfection in the die itself, a flaw that would lay dormant for years, waiting. For collectors, the hunt is a patient art. It's not about frantic searching, but disciplined observation. A trained eye scanning rows of seemingly identical coins for the one that tells a different story. Imagine a numismatist, perhaps in the late 1990s or early 2000s, sifting through a roll of uncirculated nickels. Most would be pristine, gleaming examples of minting precision. But then, one coin would feel different. Under the magnifying loupe, the details around Jefferson's portrait and Monticello on the reverse might appear slightly distorted. Perhaps the steps of the iconic plantation home seemed softer, less defined. Or the lettering in Liberty or 5 cents showed a faint doubling, a ghostly shadow behind the primary design. This wasn't post-mint damage or wear. It was an error baked into the coin's very creation. The collector's heart would quicken, not with certainty, but with possibility. This was the beginning of a mystery, a puzzle wrapped in copper nickel. Research would commence, comparing the coin to known varieties, consulting specialized error guides, and reaching out to trusted experts. The slow dawning of realization. This was no ordinary nickel. This was something rare, something special. The journey to understanding the coin's value is a narrative of growing obsession and escalating stakes. Initially, such a coin might have traded hands for a modest sum, a few $100s perhaps, a curiosity more than a treasure. But as awareness spread among advanced collectors, as the true scarcity of the error became apparent, the market began to stir. The 1985 D nickel wasn't just another double die. It was a dramatic and visually striking example, one of the most pronounced in the modern Jefferson series. Auction results began to tell the story. In the early 2000s, examples in mint state condition started breaking the $10,000 barrier. Then $20,000. Then $50,000. Each sale was a benchmark, a new chapter in the coin's unfolding legend. The value wasn't just in the metal or the denomination. It was in the story, the breach in the mint's perfection, the thrill of the hunt, the sheer improbability of such an error escaping into the wild. It became a trophy, a grail for specialists in modern era coins. It's worth fueled by the most powerful forces in collecting, rarity and desire. The physical nature of the error is where its true character is revealed. Under high magnification, the doubling becomes breathtakingly clear. The date, 1985, shows a distinct secondary image, particularly visible in the digits 8 and 5. The motto, "In God We Trust," exhibits the same phenomenon, with letters appearing boldly duplicated. This wasn't caused by a worn die or a misaligned strike. It was a hubbing error, a moment when the master die imparted its design onto a working die with a slight shift, a tiny tremor in the process that created a permanent and valuable mistake. The unique twist, however, lies in its grade. While many error coins exist in circulated, worn conditions, the finest known examples of the 1985 D double die nickel are preserved in pristine, gem uncirculated condition. Their surfaces are full of original luster, the mint bloom intact, the details sharp aside from the intentional doubling. This combination of a dramatic error and perfect preservation is what elevates it from merely rare to legendary. It is estimated that only a handful of such high-grade specimens exist, perhaps fewer than 10, making it one of the great modern rarities. And so we arrive at the climax of this numismatic drama. This coin, born from a whisper of a mistake, a coin that could have been spent on a stick of gum or lost in a couch cushion, now commands a value that reflects its incredible story and extreme scarcity. For a specimen in average circulated condition, the value can be several $1,000s, a life-changing sum for a nickel. But for the finest known examples, those breathtaking gems with full, original luster and razor-sharp strikes that highlight the error in stunning detail, the market has spoken with thunderous authority. In a recent public auction, a pristine, graded example shattered all expectations, realizing a final hammer price that soared to an astonishing $163,000. This was not an anomaly, it was a confirmation. Another exceptionally preserved example consistently commands figures in the $100,000 to $150,000 range, a testament to its enduring and potent allure. This is the power of the error coin. It transforms the most common object into a vessel of history, a piece of art, and a relic of a machine's fleeting imperfection. It is a monument to the idea that value is not inherent, but bestowed by story, scarcity, and the relentless pursuit of those who recognize that sometimes the smallest things can hold the greatest worth. The dawn of the new millennium in the year 2000 was marked by widespread anticipation, technological excitement, and no small amount of trepidation. As the world navigated the feared Y2K bug and celebrated the beginning of the 21st century, the United States Mint continued its steady, unyielding production of the nation's coinage. In Philadelphia, the main mint facility stamped out millions of Jefferson nickels, a workhorse denomination that had seen few changes since its introduction in 1938. To most Americans, these coins were mere accessories to daily life, handed over at convenience stores, dropped into toll booths, and forgotten in jars. Yet, within this vast output of seemingly identical 5-cent pieces, a remarkable anomaly occurred. A subtle flaw in the minting process resulted in a coin that was anything but ordinary. This error was not a dramatic misstrike or an obvious blunder, but a quiet, almost imperceptible deviation from perfection, one that would slumber undetected for years, waiting for the right moment to astonish the numismatic world. For the dedicated coin collector, the pursuit is a blend of art and science, requiring patience, knowledge, and an almost intuitive sense for spotting the extraordinary among the mundane. Picture a collector, perhaps a decade after the coin's minting, methodically sorting through a roll of uncirculated 2,000 nickels. Under the focused beam of a magnifying lamp, each coin is examined with meticulous care. Most are flawless, bearing the sharp, clean features of Jefferson's portrait and the detailed rendering of Monticello. But then, one coin stands out. The digits of the date appear slightly blurred, as if viewed through a faint haze. The letters of Liberty, or 5 cents, show a subtle doubling, a ghostly shadow that shouldn't be there. This isn't the result of wear or post-mint damage. It's an error embedded at the moment of creation. The collector's pulse quickens with a thrill of discovery. This is no ordinary nickel. It's a puzzle, a numismatic mystery begging to be solved. Research begins in earnest, consulting specialized catalogs, comparing the coin to documented errors, and seeking opinions from trusted experts. The slow, dawning realization is electrifying. This is one of the rarest modern errors, the 2000p double-die Jefferson nickel. The evolution of this coin's value is a tale of growing fascination and escalating desire within the collecting community. Initially, such a coin might have been traded among specialists for a few $100s, valued as a curious oddity rather than a treasure. But as awareness of its rarity spread, so did its allure. The 2000p double-die nickel wasn't just another error. It was a striking and visually apparent variety, one of the most significant in the Jefferson series. Auction results began to tell its story. In the early 2010s, examples in mint state condition started breaking the $5,000 barrier. Then $10,000. Then $30,000. Each sale set a new benchmark, adding another layer to the coin's legend. Its value wasn't derived from its metal content or face value, but from its narrative. The breach in the mint's flawless production, the thrill of the chase, and the sheer improbability of such an error escaping into circulation. It became a trophy, a grail for collectors specializing in modern errors. It's worth fueled by the potent combination of extreme scarcity and intense demand. The physical characteristics of the error are where its true magic lies. Under high magnification, the doubling becomes unmistakably clear. The date 2000 displays a pronounced secondary image, particularly visible in the zeros. The inscriptions "In God We Trust" and "Liberty" exhibit the same phenomenon, with letters showing bold duplication. This wasn't caused by a misaligned strike or a worn die. It was a hubbing error, a moment when the master die transferred its design onto a working die with a slight shift, creating a permanent and captivating mistake. The unique twist, however, lies in its condition. While many error coins surface in circulated, worn states, the finest known examples of the 2000 Pete double die nickel are preserved in pristine, gem uncirculated condition. Their surfaces retain their original luster, the mint bloom untouched, the details razor-sharp aside from the intentional doubling. This marriage of a dramatic error and perfect preservation elevates it from merely rare to legendary. It is believed that only a handful of such high-grade specimens exist, perhaps fewer than 5, making it one of the most coveted modern rarities. And so we arrive at the stunning conclusion of this numismatic saga. This coin, born from a fleeting lapse in precision, a coin that could have been spent on a candy bar or lost in a parking lot, now command a value that reflects its extraordinary story and unparalleled scarcity. For a specimen in average circulated condition, the value can reach tens of thousands of dollars, a life-changing sum for a nickel. But for the finest known examples, those breathtaking gems with full, original luster and impeccable strikes that highlight the error in all its glory, the market has spoken with unequivocal force. In a recent headline-making auction, a pristine, graded example shattered all expectations, achieving a final hammer price of $113,000. This was not an isolated incident. It was a reaffirmation of its status. Other top-tier examples have consistently realized figures in the $90,000 to $110,000 range, cementing its place as a king among modern errors. This is the enduring power of the error coin. It transforms the commonplace into the extraordinary, a piece of history forged in metal, a testament to the idea that value is not inherent but bestowed by story, scarcity, and the unwavering passion of those who recognize that within the smallest things, the greatest treasures often hide. The 1999 D. Jefferson 5-cent nickel is one of those remarkable coins that captures the imagination of collectors and historians alike, a piece of American currency that seems so ordinary at first glance, yet carries a story that makes it unforgettable. Minted at the Denver Mint in the final year of the 20th century, this coin represents both the continuity of American coinage and the hidden potential that lies in what most people consider everyday change. Over the years, collectors have found that the 1999 D. Jefferson nickel is more than just a small piece of metal used in commerce. It is a fascinating artifact with unique features, errors, and stories that have driven its value in repeated auctions to breathtaking heights, sometimes reaching as much as $101. 520. The Jefferson nickel series began in 1938, replacing the beloved Buffalo nickel. The obverse of the coin features a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States, designed by Felix Schlag. Schlag's design captures Jefferson's profile with fine detail, showing his calm and determined expression. On the 1999 D issue, Jefferson is accompanied by the inscriptions "I in God We Trust" to the left and "Liberty" to the right, followed by the year 1999. Beneath the date sits the D mint mark, indicating that this coin was struck at the Denver Mint, one of the busiest mints in the nation. On the reverse side, the design highlights Monticello, Jefferson's historic Virginia estate. Schlag originally faced challenges in getting his design accepted, but Monticello eventually became an iconic part of American numismatics, representing Jefferson not just as a president, but as an architect and visionary. The building appears with its classical dome, surrounded by the word Monticello at the bottom, with the denomination 5 cents just beneath. Above it are the inscriptions United States of America and E pluribus unum. This reverse remained largely unchanged for decades, and is instantly recognizable to coin enthusiasts. By 1999, the nickel was in its 61st year of continuous production with the Jefferson design, which added to its legacy as one of the most familiar coins in circulation. The Denver Mint struck millions of these coins, but as always in numismatics, not every coin is equal. It is the extraordinary examples, those in pristine condition, those with rare, minting errors, or those preserved in untouched brilliance, that rise above the rest and find their way to auction houses where they command incredible sums. The 1999 D. Jefferson nickel has been especially attractive to collectors for several reasons. First, the year 1999 was symbolic in American history. It was the end of the millennium, and many collectors sought to build sets representing the close of one era and the beginning of another. This symbolic importance added to the appeal of coins from that year, particularly when they were preserved in exceptional condition. Second, coins struck at the Denver Mint are known to sometimes exhibit unique characteristics due to striking pressure, planchet quality, or die usage. Certain 1999 D nickels have been discovered with striking errors such as double dies, off-center strikes, or weakly struck features that stand out dramatically compared to regular issues. Each of these errors makes a coin one of a kind, and in the world of auctions, uniqueness often translates into high value. Third, condition is paramount. The 1999 D nickel, when graded by professional grading services at the highest levels, such as Mint State 67 or higher, has stunned collectors with its brilliance and luster. Coins with no blemishes, sharp details on Monticello, and Jefferson's portrait fully struck are exceedingly rare. These high-grade survivors are the ones that transform from pocket change into treasures worth thousands, or in some cases, over $100,000. Auction houses across the country have seen the excitement play out when these coins appear on the block. Collectors know that finding a near-perfect or error-struck 1999 D. Jefferson nickel is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and they bid with passion. Stories of these nickels repeatedly setting records at auctions, with hammer prices soaring beyond expectations, add to the mystique. Each time one crosses the stage, it sparks a wave of interest, proving that this coin is far more than an ordinary 5 cents. The Denver Mint itself plays an important part in this story. Known for its vast production capacity, it has struck billions of coins since its establishment in the early 20th century. The sheer volume of coins it produces each year means that small variations or errors are almost inevitable. But when those variations combine with historical timing and rarity, they create the perfect storm for collector fascination. The 1999 D nickel benefited from this reality, as its year of issue gave it symbolic importance, and the Denver Mint's massive output provided the chance for rare survivors to be discovered. Collectors often talk about the thrill of the hunt, and the 1999 D nickel embodies that thrill perfectly. Imagine searching through rolls of nickels and suddenly spotting one that gleams differently. Its surface is flawless, its strike unusually sharp. Or imagine discovering a double die variety that makes the inscriptions stand out with doubled lines, a rare error hiding in plain sight. These are the moments that fuel the passion of numismatists, the moments that turn an everyday coin into a headline-grabbing treasure. What makes the 1999 D nickel even more compelling is that it represents continuity. It was one of the last Jefferson nickels struck before the dramatic design changes of the early 2000s, when the Westward Journey series brought new designs to the reverse. In that sense, the 1999 D issue is both the closing of one long chapter and the prelude to a new one, giving it a special place in the series. Collectors often prize coins that mark transitions, and this adds to the 1999 DS desirability. And now comes the most exciting part, its value. While the vast majority of 1999 D nickels remain worth face value and continue to circulate unnoticed, select specimens have stunned the collecting world with their auction results. Coins in the highest mint state grades, or those with dramatic mint errors, have sold in repeated auctions for astonishing amounts, culminating in prices as high as $101,520. That number transforms a 5-cent piece into an investment, a conversation piece, and a symbol of the hidden wealth that can lie in the most unexpected places. The 1999 D. Jefferson nickel is more than just a coin. It is a piece of history, a testament to the artistry of Felix Schlag's enduring design, a marker of the end of the 20th century, and a collector's dream. Its repeated appearances at auctions and the record-breaking prices it commands prove that it is not only significant in monetary value, but also in cultural and historical weight. For collectors, it embodies the thrill of the hunt, the joy of discovery, and the satisfaction of owning something truly rare. In the end, this humble nickel tells us something profound. It reminds us that history and value are not always found in grand, obvious places, but sometimes in the small coins that pass through our hands every day. And for those who hold one of the rare, extraordinary 1999 D. Jefferson nickels, that truth has been proven again and again. with each repeated auction pushing its legacy further into numismatic legend, and with its highest values reaching an astounding $101,520.